You have to accept where you are in life. Then you can play and work with what you have. You cannot work with what you don't accept, right? So first place is accepting it, then using it to win in life. There's a serenity prayer, that we're reminded in the book. No, just before we get to the serenity prayer, this Epictetus, says happiness and freedom begins with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control and some things are not within our control. That's a given part of life. And Epictetus knows this well because Epictetus himself was born as a slave. So he understands or understood what it means to be restricted in life. It's not about fighting against the restriction, but accepting your limitation and making the best of it, using your supposed limitation to win in life, to win the game of life, right? So sometimes when we don't accept it, then I will struggle with it. That is the Buddha would say that's a root of suffering. Buddha puts it this way: say attachment is a root of suffering. When you don't let go the thing you no more have, or the thing you want to have and you don't have, then you put yourself through suffering. Like we popularly will say, pain, is pain is not something we control, but suffering is that which we control by the attachment we put to things, right? We need to come to the place to be brutally honest with ourselves, wherever we find ourselves, and make the best of that place where we find ourselves, right? So that's important. And we come to the serenity prayer, which says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. That's important. We lose control of life. We lose the our vantage point of life when we struggle with reality, right? So the question then goes in the book, says, is there a link between social connection and the risk of dying at any age? It says the result of the study, and several studies here they looked at, including this one that the book is focused on, shows that there truly is a correlation between our vantage point in relationship and how long we live. They found out that there's a strong social connection which is associated with increased odds of living longer, regardless of a person's location, age, ethnicity, or background. So irrespective of where you find yourself, your ability to relate right, accept your reality, and make the best of it, makes the best of it, protecting the relationship you have, your relationships in that particular instance, right? Your ability to relate with others, will determine how long you live. And that they found to be true, respective of the area, the location, the country, the ethnic, the age bracket the study was done. So we all share common humanity, and that humanity determines how the quality of our life and the length of our life, right? Whether we're going to live a good life or not. And the length of that life, also our ability to relate with ourselves and others, has a good correlation with that, So relationship, and that's building point on relationship that as a book emphasizes. And we'll go on and says, what makes us happy, right? So talking about what makes us happy, says our intentional activity counts for a lot when it comes to happiness, right? Our intentionality, makes a whole lot of difference in our happiness or the lack thereof. Our ability to be proactive, our ability to take charge of the issues of our life, our ability to have our what do I call that thing now? Our belief that the events of our life, we're able to control the events of our life, right? There are things we cannot control, but there are things we can control, and if we focus on that, that goes a long way to increase the quality of our life, So our actions and choices make account for about 40% of our happiness. That's what the study finds. About 40% of our happiness is determined by the choices we make and what we do, right? So the way we feel in life is determined only in part by what happens around us, right? And to a great extent to what happens inside of us. What happens inside of us goes a long way to determine the way we feel, whether we're happy or not, right? So what's that thing? It's the word for it. It's a psychological word that's escaping me right now. But our ability to believe that we affect our life goes a long way to determine whether we're happy or not, right? So the chapter ends with the word, the engine of a good life. What drives a good life? And it says relationships are not just essential as stepping stones to other things. They are not simply a functional route to health and happiness. They are hands in themselves, right? So relationships are hands in themselves. We don't relate with people to get other things. We don't get married because of children. We don't get married to do this. We get married for marriage itself, even though there are other things that come out of it, right? We relate with people. We're friends with people for friendship itself, right? Relationship is its own benefit, even though it results in other things. If you're going to be happy, then you need to know that and protect that you don't relate because of what you want to get from it. You relate because you need to relate. You need to have an essential connection to someone else, and that's important, right? Love by its very nature is unworldly, so says Anna Arendt, right? Relationships are the foundation of our lives, intrinsic to everything we do and everything we have, right? So, and to close, this is the last slide here. It says, the engine of a good life is not the self, but rather our connection to others. Our essence is not found within ourselves, but it's found in the way we relate to everyone else, right? That is why we're here. We're not here just to be loners. We're here to be a blessing to others, right? Everything that takes place on the inside of us is the intent that will be a blessing, right? Not just be a loner, right? And I close this with David Goggins, President reading Goggins' book, Can't Be Earth. And it says, we can't control all the variables in our lives. It's about what we do with the opportunities revoked or presented to us that determine how a story ends. That determines whether we'll get fulfilled or not. It's not about the things we can't control. It's about all the things we can control, right? That's important. And that's really all I have for today. It's a fast one, but that's the end of chapter 2. Next week, Sunday, we're going and read chapter 3. Thanks for this quick time with me. God bless you. Have a great week ahead. See you next week. Bye-bye.